He is Senior Fellow at the New Culture Forum at Dr. Philip Kiszely. Hello, Philip.
Hi, Kev. Good morning. It's great to see you again.
Good to see you at this unusual hour for us. Well, let me get your take on this flag row, which is escalating, to be honest with you. Strange development today. So as the councils, both in Birmingham City Council and Tower Hamlets here in London, in the east of London, continue to rip down these flags, Union Jacks and St George's Cross flags that have been put up in what's been called an outpouring of patriotism. So these two councils ripping them down, ludicrously saying, oh, they're a risk to life, they're dangerous. Rubbish. You know, the leader of Tower Hamlets Council sort of angrily saying, we're going to get these flags down as soon as possible. It's Union Jacks, for God's sake. But the Prime Minister's waded in and let it be known through his communications department, his crack press office, that he fully supports the patriots who've been putting up these flags. So as Prime Minister, why not put your foot down and tell these town hall tyrants to leave our flags alone? How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It should be actions, not words, because I'm listening to what Keir Starmer says or what his advisors and colleagues say, and I just don't believe you. I'm smelling the stench of bovine manure. Keir Starmer is the representative, the figurehead of the ideology that is anti-British, anti-Western, anti-white, anti-heterosexual, all the rest of it, okay? And he was that right up until the moment that reform started surging in the polls, okay? And now he's in this ridiculous situation where he can't do right for doing wrong, and this is a really good example, Kev. Right? Okay. So he comes out saying, "Well, I support the pro flag wavers." You know, I don't believe him because he's so nakedly opportunistic, okay? So I'm against him because of that, right? If he came out and said, I don't support them, I would be against him as well. And I think so many people are in exactly the same position where no matter what he says, they don't believe him because he is, like I say, so nakedly opportunistic. And we've got this situation here in Tower Hamlets specifically. There's this mayor here, Luftar Rahman, okay, who was guilty of electoral fraud in 2015, Kev, who is the leader of the Aspire party, which is, look them up, viewers, which is pro-Palestinian, okay? And we're talking about Gaza here. We're talking about the most oppressive, militaristic, brutal regime on earth. It makes North Korea look like the Cambridge Folk Festival, you know, and the Palestinian flag has become this symbol, hasn't it, of a balkanized society. We are living in a sectarian society now, and it's just so great that these English patriots, who are often mothers and daughters and mums and dads, we've talked about this before, generally people with good hearts who are frightened about what's happening to their country. It's great that they're standing up against this symbol of brutality, that these idiots who are so anti-British. It is just great, but I come back to the central point which I'm making here. I don't believe Keir Starmer, and whatever he says, I'm just not on board with it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Of course, you can't believe it. You know, how do you know when Keir Starmer's lying? His lips move. His lips moved a little bit in Washington yesterday, but not much. Not allowed to get much of a word in. But in terms of our flags, there is this feeling that a lot of people around the country, particularly in Birmingham and, of course, Tower Hamlets, are starting to say, listen, you know, we know that. We see what Starmer is doing in Chagos and generally around the world, that he just wants to give away British power, that he doesn't seem to have any patriotism, he doesn't seem to care about this country. Well, we do. Well, yeah. We do, and we're sick of this kind of almost official shame that we have as a nation in Britishness. Oh, we're colonial, we're imperial. You know, I'll put the Palestinian flag up, but don't put the Union Jack up. Oh, not that dreadful St George's Cross flag. We all know what that means. Well, what it should mean, and what we have to get back to, is it should mean it is the national flag of England. Scotland, quite rightly, very proud of its flag. Northern Ireland, very proud of its flag. Wales, Wales especially proud of its dragon flag. You know, why is it that the English flag is seen as some sort of symbol of shame? Same for the Union Jack. And I think these people in Birmingham, Tower Hamlets, and I suspect it's going to grow, are saying enough of this, enough of this. We want our flags back and we want to be proud of them.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think we're going to see much more of this. What's it called? Operation Raise the Colours. It's called, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
I think this is going to absolutely grow over the next few months, and I'm delighted that it's going to be, because the flag is a really good symbol, isn't it? These people who hate our flag, they love every other flag in the world, don't they? You know, they love the progress flag, they love the rainbow flag, they love all of these identitarian nonsense flags that mean absolutely nothing. But they also love, you know, the Palestinian flag, and I keep coming back to that because that is essentially, you know, it's a symbol of hatred. You know, it's the modern day version of the swastika, because it goes with the phrase "from the river to the sea," and that means removing Jews from Israel. It all goes back to that stuff. Now, first of all, it doesn't have any bearing on our society other than that Jews are in danger in this country. The Palestinian flag, it's not a country, it's a fantasy country. It's never existed and it never will exist. This is the Gaza Strip we're talking about here, and yet somehow it's become symbolic of everything that's anti-British. Now, I think that says an awful lot, because our flag is about decency, it's about British culture, and we are generally a force for good in the world, you know, and I think we should bear that in mind. These people are it's just ideological. They are just here to undermine us, and it's easy to talk. It's like Keir Starmer. It's like you just said before, all Keir Starmer will do is all talk and no action. These people, I just say to them, okay, you know, if you hate this place so much, if you hate our flag, if you hate our country, if you hate our culture, if you want to make it so poisonous, then please, the door's open. My God, we know we've got open borders, that it works the other way as well. Please go. Please feel free to go. It really should be. We're in a situation now, we're in a crisis situation now, where we need to show solidarity. We need to show support. We need to show patriotism for our country, okay? And I think it's very, very important that this wave of protests, which are actually about love of country, patriotism, and also about community. I mean the real sense of community, Kev. I mean mothers and daughters being safe on the streets of this country. That's what it's about, and more of it. That's what I say.
Absolutely. Before you go, Philip, the Prime Minister, again, deluding himself, he's some kind of colossus on the world stage, reduced to that sort of silly little bit part, as the 7 idiots from Europe were humiliated, I think, in Washington yesterday. I mean, they played no part in the proceedings. I don't even know why they went there, told to sit in another room while Trump and Zelensky attended to the business of the day. Here, have a buffet. We'll see you lot later. That notwithstanding, he's over there, as always. Meanwhile, the migrant crisis goes from bad to worse. We've just discussed some of the ludicrous largesse we're bestowing on these people. The latest fabulous freebie or knockdown bargain rate, especially for asylum seekers, you won't believe this, is cheap rates on renting beach huts in Portsmouth. It's unbelievable. But what I wanted to ask you is, any idea what happened to the 1 in, 1 out scheme? Supposed to be a deterrent. Since then, this was now, well, tomorrow it would be 2 weeks, so it's 13 days since Macron and Starmer launched their bizarre swap a foreigner initiative. The very next day, I seem to remember, it was either the Wednesday or the Thursday, we were shown footage of the first migrants earmarked for the scheme being detained in Manston and ready for one of them, 1 out of 17, to be picked to be deported back to France, swapped with one of their migrants. Since then, nothing, nada, nothing has happened. I mean, as a deterrent, Philip, we know it has just failed right off the bat, because 2,500 migrants have come over the channel since they launched this scheme. So it's not working as a deterrent. But whatever happened to our one in, one out scheme guinea pigs that we saw 2 weeks ago? Any idea?
I think it got it must be in a toilet somewhere in 10 Downing Street, you know, on the floor somewhere there. I mean, this is just typical, isn't it, of sound bites, gimmicks, gaslighting, and all of the other terrible things that just comes back to what I said before. You cannot trust this man because there is no substance to any of it. The one thing that he needs to do, the one thing he needs to get right is to close the borders, to really clamp down on this stuff and be seen to be doing that. Okay, this is what is this now? This is it's 2 weeks ago. And even if this had worked, it would only add up to 100 people. Now, bearing in mind, we were talking a couple of weeks ago, there was one day when 898 people came across the English Channel in boats. So this is quite literally a drop in the ocean or a drop in the channel. And it just represents everything that is terrible about this government, everything that is really terrible about the media class, because it only seems to be us on this channel that are talking about it, and independent channels like New Culture Forum. It only seems to be people like us that are talking about it. Where are the media on this? Where are the BBC on this? Why aren't they coming down? If this were anybody else, if this was the Tories, my God, if this was Nigel Farage, they'd be down on them like a ton of bricks, but they let these things go because they are complicit in this. They think having all of these fighting age men, we're just looking at them, they're all men. Okay?
Yeah.
Fighting age men coming over, hordes of fighting age men invading this. They think that's perfectly fine. They think that's, you know, some kind of act of kindness and that we should be doing this. No, you need to be being actual, you know, journalists and pushing back on this. Yeah. That's why they get away with this, because it's only a select people of you know, a select number of journalists who are really keen on this, who really want action, and the mainstream media, i.e. the public service broadcasters, don't care.
Yeah, and if you watched yesterday's proceedings at the White House and you listen to the telly, you'd think, you know, it's peace in our times, just a stroke of a pen and we're there. No, we're a million miles off peace, but you wouldn't know that from the media. And as for these migrants that keep coming over, as you say, nearly all young men. I've got a new kind of classification. People say, oh, they're young men of fighting age, young men of working age. Here's the problem. They're young men of sexually active age, and that is presenting more and more trouble to this country. It is insanity. Philip, good to talk to you as always. Thank you so much for your time. Dr. Philip Kiszely, there, cultural historian and senior fellow at the New Culture Forum.